Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I just want to apologize for last week's video because I had to take it down because the police had to get involved. The person that was harassing me on that video, I was not trying to have it anymore. I was sick of it. I was done. I contacted the non-emergency line and I let them know the situation and they sent me a cop and then we spoke and yeah. So because of that video, it's now confidential and I can't talk about it or post it right now because if I do post it, one, is confidential. Two, they said that if I talk about her, she's just gonna keep coming back because that's what stalkers do. So yeah. So I'm not gonna talk about it. This is my last time bringing it up for a while until I know it's safe to talk about it again. But yeah, so let's just get into this video. So at the beginning when I first met him, it was like the day before the date and I literally met him and then we went on a date. It felt like I was at the mall with Sarah and I were just hanging out, looking around, looking at clothes like how I normally do, and I saw this guy and I was like, wow, he's like really cute. And Sarah was like, yeah, he looks cute for you. And I'm like, oh, I want to get his number but I'm too scared to go over there. And she was like, oh, you want me to go grab his number for you? And I was like, yeah, do it please, because you know I won't. And she's like, yeah, let me go get that number for you, let me spice some things up. And I was like, yeah, stir the pot, something stupid like that. So she goes over there and she gets his number for me and then she points me out to him and he's all like walking over to me and I'm like, shoot. And he comes over to me and he's like, why didn't you just come over to me and ask me for my number? And I'm like, because I thought you were gonna say no. And he's like, no. So after I got his number and everything, it was like the next day, it was like July 4th, and we go to the movies with my mom and my aunts, and him and I sit down at the like kind of middle and they were on top and they could see what's happening. And he did that yawn thing where he was like, you know, oh my god, I actually yawned. So yeah, he does that whole yawn thing and I was like, and like something about me that people don't know is I am not a touchy person. I don't like touching people. Sometimes I do like touching people, but I really have to know the person. Or I really have to like the person in general. But I didn't really know him. I just thought he was cute. I didn't know anything about him. Because I didn't know him, I just felt uncomfortable. So he did that and then he was trying to hold my hand and I'm like, this is way too much for me. Like, I feel overwhelmed right now. I don't like it. And then when the movie was over, I was like, thank God, because I didn't want to be near him anymore. And I know that sounds bad and everything. I just can't. Too much contact. So we go over to my aunt's house and we start eating at their cookout and everything. And then as we're eating, he's talking to me and he's trying to tell me that he's a vampire. He's a werewolf. And then he told me he had really bad anger issues and that he crashed a wedding and like ruined the wedding. And I was thinking like, what the heck? And I'm thinking like long term. I'm like, do I want this person to be with me? No. Why do I not want this person to be with me? Because he says he's a werewolf / vampire and his anger issues are so bad that he crashed a wedding. So I was like, nah, I don't want this person here. And then he starts climbing my aunt's tree because he said he was a werewolf / vampire and he's like, I'm gonna prove it, and he starts climbing the tree. And I was like, what the hell? And he was older than me. He was probably like 22, 23, and I was probably like 18. I was expecting more. I was not expecting that. I felt humiliated because my date that I brought to the cookout with my family is climbing a tree and I don't really know him and I don't know what to say to him because he said he had anger issues, so I don't know what to say. So then we go over to my other aunt's house so we can watch fireworks, and then him and I are just chilling by his car and everything. And he's like, let's sit on the front of the car, and I'm like, okay. So we're sitting there and he starts talking to me about some messed up story, and I'm not gonna say that story because it's his story. He told me that story and I was like, I'm scared to be near you. I cannot talk to you about this story. I wish I could tell you, but it feels too personal for me to talk to you guys about it. So I'm not gonna say that, but there was death involved, and that's all I'm gonna say. And that I reminded someone or of someone to him apparently, but I don't know if that's like legit or not. But yeah, so I felt weird, and then he gave me his hat and he's like, you should wear my hat, and I was like, I don't want to wear his hat. And I kept giving him back his hat and he kept making me wear it, so I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just gonna go home and never speak to him again, and I'll keep the hat if I have to. He drops me off at my house and I'm like, okay, cool, we're done. And he starts messaging me. I'm like, hey, do you want to come pick up your hat? Because I just wanted him away from me, because he's like, you still have my hat, like, what the heck? And I'm over here like, just get out of my life, take the hat, I don't want it. And he comes over and he's like, yeah, we need to talk and everything. And he starts hugging me. I threw his hat inside the car because he left the door open. I threw that shit in there. I was like, no, he's never coming back. Like, I threw that hat like he was out. And then I gave him a hug. I'm like, yeah, I'll see you later. I never saw him again. He's like, oh, but my hat. I'm like, no, it's in the back seat. And he's like, it is? And I was like, yeah. Because, like, after he left and everything, he tried getting in contact again. And he's like, well, you still have my hat. I'm like, no, I don't. I threw it in the back seat. He's like, when did you do that? And I said, when you were giving me a hug. And I threw it in the car. And he's like, oh. And I was like, yeah. And then we never spoke again. I'll see you guys next week on Monday at 6 o'clock Central Time. Peace.